Today, I spoke with Cerena, Director of Operations and co-owner of Warehouse109. Warehouse109 is one of my favorite Chicagoland wedding venues around. They just have a style that's unique to themselves and something that you don't really see with most wedding venues around. Serena and I, we go deep into how the style came about and just some key features behind the scenes. It's an interesting conversation, but I hope you like it. So going right into it, tell me about Warehouse 109.
So I guess first and foremost, we're a family-owned business. We've been in business, I think, since 2015. We are located in Plainfield, Illinois, and similar to the name, we offer a warehousey feel for an event space, but it features a lot of collections that my family has been collecting for years. And I guess in short, the warehouse brings together the four owners' skills and collection of stuff. My parents, my sister, and I are all owners. My parents have been the collectors of such things, which are displayed throughout the space. My sister's an architect, and then my background is in business. So we've kind of come together to create this family business that honestly came out of nowhere, and we're having fun, loving it.
So where did the idea come from about opening a wedding venue?
So we had no plans whatsoever to open a wedding venue. My sister, back in 2014, she wanted a destination wedding. So she got married in Portugal and had 40 people, 40 of her closest friends and family over there. But she also wanted to have a reception back home, for a bigger group of about 200. And she was looking for places in the city and in the suburbs, and she just couldn't really find anything, definitely nothing within what her budget was, because we'd already gone on this huge trip. And my parents have always had commercial real estate, and they had bought the building that Warehouse 109 is in, the entire complex, probably 10 years ago. And the space that Warehouse 109 is in right now was supposed to just be storage for my dad's RV overflow stuff. And my sister's like, well, can we just fix up your warehouse a little bit and just have a party? And of course we do nothing halfway. We made the bike wall, we added bathrooms, made the courtyard nice. And then by the time we had our party, everybody's like, you need to start this as a business. This is an amazing space. So we made a website the next month. And I think we had our first wedding, it was kind of a smaller wedding, but we had our first wedding just a few months later. So it just came out of nowhere, but we feel lucky that it just fell in our laps, and we've been loving it.
That's awesome. So whenever I go to Warehouse 109, and I've been there quite a bit over the past, I think probably 3 years. 3 years ago is the first time I've ever been there. But one thing I noticed compared to every other wedding venue is the fact that every wedding there is completely different. How are couples able to customize the space?
Honestly, I think just because we're flexible. Obviously besides the normal, no nails, no, we're open, and they bring in their own decorations. And I feel like the space is kind of a blank slate enough where, you could either make it a very fancy wedding or just keep it really simple and let the building speak for itself. So, that in addition to, we don't have a set list of vendors, either. So caterers, we've seen everything from food trucks to ice cream trucks to full-on caterers with very fancy china. So I think just our flexibility allows every wedding to be different, and we're happy for it because it's fun to see what different couples come up with.
It's funny that you mentioned that. So that's one of the more unique things that I noticed about Warehouse 109 is one time I was there was a pizza truck that pulled into the main area, and then there was a grilled cheese truck, which it's just cool that you guys seem to be doing everything different. Tell me about the decorations around the space. So I know you said your parents have a lot of collections. What kind of collections are we talking?
Well, I'd say the biggest collection that's on display is obviously our motorcycle wall or rack. And I think it has 12 motorcycles up there at any time. So that's been a hobby that my dad has had forever. He is interested in vintage and antique motorcycles and has been rebuilding them, restoring them for as long as I can remember. So I've been riding a mini bike since I was 5, so definitely grew up around that. And then other than that, I feel like my parents are just they have like such a good eye and such good luck. They're always like, oh yeah, we found this random like Airstream for like really cheap. Like let's make a, so they just have a collection of stuff that they've been, buying and antiquing and going to auctions and getting random leads on just really cool items.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I know the Airstream's always a really good photo spot. Some of the old trucks up in front, and then the motorcycles, of course. That's another really good detail.
Yeah.
That's one thing. As a photographer, it just gives me so much to work with. Usually at most locations, we have to like travel a lot. Jump in the car, get the whole bridal party together, just go all over the place. But it seems like within 200 feet of Warehouse 109, you guys have everything. And now you have a new outdoor space that's somewhat new to the 2019 season, right?
Right. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Just adjacent to like the parking lot, the main parking lot, we built a garden. Um, and I mean, I am obsessed with how it turned out. We had a landscape architect from Chicago design it, and she just did an amazing job. And then my sister, who's an architect, she designed like these modern metal walls in there, and my dad and his friend welded them. So it was definitely a team effort, and it was a lot of work, a lot of time, but it's so worth it. I mean, it's every time I go in there, I'm like, this is amazing. And we like that it offers like a different kind of green, very lush space versus the warehouse. So we like that. And I think couples enjoy too having like a different space for the warehouse or for the ceremony and then for the reception. So
Definitely. Now, was that, did you guys do that in the 2019 season first, or is it new for 2020?
no, definitely last year we had it. I feel like maybe at the end of 2018 it opened, and then 2019 I think was the first full year.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I really like the addition of that space. Exactly what you said, just to kind of contrast like the rustic vibe. But I really dig the rustic vibe, especially Airstream and like the rustic wood and the really cool bar that you guys have.
Oh yeah, that's another random find of my parents. They were like, hey, we found this vintage bar. I'm like, of course you did.
Yeah. So where do they find it? Just keep an eye out like Craigslist and stuff?
Gosh, it was actually, they bought it from the same people where they got the Airstream. They bought the Airstream, and then like the guy called him up and was like, hey, I have this bar in my barn from a old bar in Crescent City, Illinois. He's like, I want to get rid of it. And my parents went and looked at it and were like, okay, yeah, we'll buy it. No,
Wow.
I think when they bought it, they had no idea. Like maybe it was at the beginning of when they were fixing up the warehouse, but yeah, we had no idea where we were going to use it.
Cool.
But of course, they're like, can't let this go. You don't find something like this all the time. So
Man, is that awesome? I never knew that. That's really
yeah,
cool. Because now how the space is put together, it just seems like you had a vision and you picked each piece to go there. But it's interesting to hear that it's kind of just random finds that really just work with the space.
yeah. And we definitely have like an awesome team. My parents have been contractors forever. We have an awesome carpenter slash handyman on staff, and he like the shape of the bar was completely different, and he is like a master at just making things look amazing. So he, put it in the shape that we needed, and you would never know that he had changed it up. So, and of course, like my sister's architecture eye, she's good at all that stuff, obviously.
That's the one thing I'm not too good at. I like building things, but it's never perfect. So now, what size wedding and events does Warehouse 109 generally host?
I would say most common it's around like 150 to 170. We have done up to 200 quite a few times, and it can be possible, but I always just say it's a little bit tighter of a squeeze, especially if weather's not good and everybody's kind of stuck inside, but we've definitely done 200. But what we also like about our space is I feel like it's flexible even down to, of course, these days, like 50 people. Um, I feel like, if it's a really small group, we'll do things like bring the Airstream in to fill up space or bring in a random vehicle just to put in the corner so it doesn't feel so large. But I would say usually like 150 to 170 seated.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, because that's another thing I noticed where it's a wide range of size of the group. So like
Right.
sometimes it'll be like 50, sometimes it'll be 200, but
Right.
and it never feels awkward. Like some places it just seems like wow, everyone's packed in here, or like it's a completely barren warehouse. It seems like no matter what size group that's in the warehouse, you guys make it work and then make it seem cozy and comfortable where it's not too packed or it's not too wide open, which is
Right.
pretty
Yeah. I feel like
awesome.
their space is pretty flexible.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then what are your packages usually look like? Do you have any certain packages that you usually offer?
So for weddings, usually the package includes the space for the entire day. So you get it from 10 a.m. till midnight, includes all tables and chairs, kind of, and like the string lights are always up. We have a bunch of random tables that people can use. And then there's various add-ons like ceremony fee, and then like we have our marquee letters. So that's kind of the rental of the space. And then the bar packages through us as well. We have, packages starting at just beer and wine all the way up to premium liquor. And it's pretty flexible. So a lot of people will get maybe just a more basic bar package and add on a keg of something. So it's all pretty flexible. I feel like when people go on tours, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm like, basically the name of the game is we're flexible. I don't know, for better or for worse for us. And maybe it makes our lives more complicated sometimes, but, and then people bring in their own catering. And the caterer obviously has everything to do with the food side. And then other vendors as well. So you would bring in your own DJ, photographer, florist, all that stuff.
So now we've been talking about how Warehouse 109 usually is evolving. Where do you guys see yourself like a couple years down the road?
Free of COVID, most excited about that. Honestly, I feel like we are in such a good groove now. I mean, we have it down to a science, and it's really good. And I think just, continuing to make things more efficient. We have a few projects that we want to do. But honestly, just kind of chugging along. This year we definitely missed the wedding. We missed the 3-weekend. It's been odd, and we're looking forward to getting back into them. But yeah, I guess just chugging along.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do in the future.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to reach out to you or Warehouse 109, where's the best spot to talk to you?
Definitely email. Our email address is info@warehouse109.com. And our website, warehouse109.com. We have an event inquiry thing, I think, in the top right corner. And that email goes directly to me because, I'm the main person. So everybody's like, they call the number and they're like, I'd like to talk to Cerena. I'm like, this is me. It always goes to my phone every day of the week. So yeah, it's me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for jumping on the call with me. It's super interesting to hear about the behind the scenes of Warehouse 109.
Yeah, thanks for having me.